What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Ancient Gear deck profile. So I'm really excited to do some for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful OTK deck that we just got an awesome new support card for. Ancient Gear Statue. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go and get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Ancient Gear Statue. This card is definitely a 3 of in the build, with the ability, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can also tribute this card to be able to special summon from your hand or deck one Ancient Gear Golem, or a monster that mentions it, except another copy of this card, ignoring its summoning conditions. And one of the best cards to actually summon all of this card's effect is actually Ancient Gear Dark Golem. Ancient Gear Dark Golem is definitely a 2 of in the build, and one of the best cards to be able to summon off of Statue, with the ability this card's name becomes Ancient Gear Golem while in the field or in the graveyard. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can add up to 2 cards that are Ancient Gear cards and or Gear Town from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, then discard a card, which is an awesome ability to instantly grab the exact card you need off this card's effect. We then play a single copy of the original Ancient Gear Golem. This card is so nostalgic and so cool to be able to summon this deck because it actually does piercing damage, and it's so cool to be able to summon in this build. We then play 3 copies of Ancient Gear Wyvern. Wyvern is definitely a 3 of in the deck as well, because this card is basically the Stratos of the deck. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can add an Ancient Gear card from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. We then play 2 copies of Tanker. Tanker is really cool as a 2 of in the build, with a really cool effect that if this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster from your hand, except another copy of this card, ignoring its summoning additions, or if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon it from your graveyard instead. You can also target a face-up card that you control and destroy it, which is a really cool effect. We then play a single copy of Commander. Commander is really good in the deck as a 1 of because you can actually send an Ancient Gear Golem from your hand, deck, or face from the monster zone to the graveyard, and immediately as effect results, you get to normal summon an Ancient Gear monster. And if you normal or special summon an Ancient Gear Golem, except during the damage step, you can actually special summon an Ancient Gear Golem from your hand or graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can also banish this card from the graveyard and then place an Ancient Gear Continuous Trap from your hand face up on the field, which is a great effect to be able to use with your copy of Ancient Gear Duel. We then play a single copy of Ancient Gear Frame. Gear Frame is great in the deck as a 1-of, but you really only need a single copy of this card in the deck now, especially with your copy of Statue being able to summon that Dark Golem directly to your side of the field. But this card lets you discard a card to add an Ancient Gear Golem or a spell or trap card that specifically lists Ancient Gear Golem in its text from your deck to your hand. We then play a single copy of the Gizmek Frog. This card is great to be able to summon off your copy of Urgent Schedule. With the ability, if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually take a machine monster whose attack equals its own defense points from your deck and place it on top of the deck. But the really cool effect about this card is you can banish this card from the graveyard and then target a machine monster in your graveyard whose attack equals its own defense points and special summon it in defense position, which is a great effect to be able to use with your copy of Dark Golem because it has 3,000. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Gear Town. Gear Town is really good as a 1-of in the deck, but you only need a single copy of this card because it is searchable. with my single copy of Catapult. Catapult is great in the deck as a 1-of, but I've actually bumped this card just down to a single copy, as it's so easy to get to, and it's just a really cool combo piece. Now, while you control no monsters, you can target a face-up card that you control and destroy it. Then, if you do, you get to special summon an Ancient Gear monster from the deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can also banish this card from the graveyard to target a face-up card that you control, destroy it. If you do, special summon an Ancient Gear token to your side of the field. It's a machine type Earth, level 1, 0 attack, and 0 defense points. We then play a single copy of Ancient Gear Fusion. Ancient Gear Fusion has been bumped down to 1 in this build because it's so searchable in the deck, and it's such a powerful card, but once you resolve it once, you're probably going to win the game once you summon out your copy of Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. We then play a single copy of Triple Tactics Talent. Triple Tactics Talent is definitely a 1-of in the build because this card is an insane ability that if your opponent has activated a monster effect during your main phase, you get to draw 2 cards, take control of an opponent's monster, or look at your opponent's hand and choose a card from it and shuffle it into the deck. We then play a single copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Feather Duster is great in this deck to basically just deal with your opponent's back row, so we don't have to worry about it when we swing in for game. We then play 2 copies of Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm is really good as a 2-of in the build just to either deal with your opponent's attack position monsters or deal with your opponent's back row. We then play 3 copies of Regeki. Regeki is insane in this deck because this is actually a going second build for Ancient Gear, but this card is insane to be able to play just to board wipe your opponent's monsters off the field so you can swing in for game. We then play 3 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust. Thrust is really good as a 3-of in the deck to basically just be able to grab any of your powerhouse spell cards, like your copy of Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, Triple Tactics Talent, Regeki, or even Fusion off this card's effect, which is actually insane to be able to do. This card is definitely a 3-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of Ancient Gear Advance. Ancient Gear Advance is such a powerful card in the deck and has one of the best artworks in the entire game. This card is able to, when this card is activated, you get to add an Ancient Gear spell or trap from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, and once per turn, you can treat a monster to draw a card, then apply this effect for the rest of the turn, even if this card leaves the field. You can normal summon Ancient Gear Golem or level 5 or higher monsters that mention it without tributing, which is an insane effect. We then play 3 copies of Fortress. Fortress is really good as a 3-of in the build because this card has the ability during the turn they were normal or special summon, your opponent cannot target Ancient Gear monsters you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either. And your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to activation of your Ancient Gear cards and their effects. And if this card is destroyed in the spell and trap card zone, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster from your hand or graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon monsters your rest turn except Ancient Gear monsters, which is totally fine. We then play 3 copies of Urgent Schedule. Urgent Schedule is such a powerful card in the deck because if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon a level 4 or lower and a level 5 or higher Earth Machine monster from your deck in defense position, but negate their effects. And you cannot declare an attack for the turn you activate this effect except with machine monsters, which is totally fine. So we're basically just using this card to get 2 monsters on our side of the field so we can link them away for a copy of Ballista. This card is really good as a 3-of in the deck and just really awesome to get you more monsters on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets. Droplets is really good in the deck as a 3-of to basically just break your opponent's board because you can basically half the attack points of your opponent's monsters and also turn their effects off, which is really good to be able to do. And this card is insane in the deck as a 3-of. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 1, and that's going to be a single copy of Ancient Gear Duel. Ancient Gear Duel is really good as a 1-of in the deck, as Ancient Gear Golem and monsters that mention it in your monster zone are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. And if your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon one fusion monster that mentions Ancient Gear Golem from your extract by banishing monsters from your field or graveyard as material, including Ancient Gear Golem that you control. And if you do, it can make up to 3 attacks during each battle phase, making it super easy to OTK your opponent using Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. This card is an amazing 2-of in the build that is a walking OTK machine, coming out at 4,500 attack points. This card has the ability that it takes 4 Ancient Gear monsters to make this card, and it must be fusion summoned and is unaffected by spell and trap effects, and your opponent cannot activate monster effects during the battle phase. It can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and also it does piercing damage, which is crazy. We then may see a copy of Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. This card is really good to help you OTK your opponent using your copy of Ancient Gear Duel, and it's such a cool card to be able to make in this deck. And then may see a copy of Megaton Golem. Megaton Golem is a great option in the deck, which is why I play this card as a 1-of in the build. It doesn't require any 3 Ancient Gear monsters to make this card. It's just a really good option to be able to make in the deck. And then I see a copy of Howitzer. Howitzer is great because this card does burn damage to the opponent, unaffected by other card effects, and during your main phase, you can actually inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent, and you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. That if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster from the deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is a great effect. And let's see a copy of number 60. Number 60 is great because you can double the attack points of a monster, draw 2 and discard a card, or use this card as a monster reborn. And let's see a copy of Baguska just in case we need to be able to slow down the game, and it's a really good option if we do have to go first. We may see a copy of Typhon. Typhon is just a really good option overall in this deck to use as a skill drain for 3,000 or higher attack point monsters, and it's a balance off the field, which is really nice. And let's see a copy of Access Code. Access Code can pop multiple cards on the field, and it comes out absolutely massive, and it's just a really good option in the deck. And let's see a copy of Nightmare Unicorn to spin stuff, one copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps, a single copy of Cleafort Genius. This card works really well when you use it with your copy of Urgent Schedule, and you'll actually summon out 2 monsters to your side of the field at the exact same time, so you can actually use this card to search, which is really, really good. We then might see a copy of SP. SP is just a really good option overall, just in case we need it, to use as a double interruption. One copy of Ballista. You could play 2 if you want to drop the copy of Phoenix, but I feel like 1 is really all you need. This card has the effect of its Link Summon. You can actually add an Ancient Gear monster or a Gear Town from your deck to your hand, and you can target a spell or trap that you control, and one face of monster your opponent controls, destroy that card that you control, and if you do, change an opponent's monster's attack and defense until the end of the turn to 0, which is a great effect to be able to use. We then finally play a single copy of IP. IP is great in the deck as a 1-of to basically just use this card to go in for your copy of a Unicorn or your copy of SP during the opponent's turn. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played an Ancient Gear deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try. Statue is insane and just takes this deck to a whole new level, being able to easily OTK your opponent because you can actually summon out your copy of Dark Golem directly from your deck using your copy of Statue. So, that's good for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.